Good evening. The North Las Vegas City Council welcomes you to our City Council meeting this evening. There are two public forums, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end of the meeting. If you wish to make public comments, you can go to get a blue card at the end of the podium rail here or out at the back door where you walked in. We ask that you please complete it, give it to our city clerk who sits here to my left, and when she gets that, she'll give it to me, and when I call upon her, we ask that you come up and speak, but you limit your comments no more than 3 minutes. We try to avoid some repetition. Madam City Clerk, are we in compliance with an Nevada open meeting law?
Mayor, yes, we are.
Thank you. Tonight we have the opportunity to have the invocation given by one of our very special own, Marshal Delgado Lopez, and following him, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by an owner of a very reputable plumbing company in North Las Vegas and does a lot of business here. Aqua Plumbing is Miss Becky White. So if we please stand.
First, I'd like to say Happy New Year to the mayor, council, everyone present. Please bow your head. Dear God, as we stand at the beginning of this new year, we confess our need of your presence and your guidance as we face the future and what it brings. All of us have our hopes and expectations for the year that is ahead of us, but you alone know what it holds for us, and only you can give us the strength and the wisdom we need to meet its challenges. So help us to humbly put our faith, dedication, and commitment into your hand, into your trust, and to seek your will for our responsibilities that lie ahead for us this coming year. We pray for our nation and its leaders, our mayor, city council, our police department and fire department, and other government authorities in our city, as well as the citizens of North Las Vegas. God, with your grace and mercy, I pray for a safe and prosperous year for all who is present, listening, and committed to make City of North Las Vegas bigger, better, and brighter in 2016. In your son Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Please place your hand on your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Becky. Appreciate you coming this evening. And Delgado, it's always wonderful to have you in the building doing your job with us and being able to do that. Now is this time set aside for the first public forum on posted agenda items. Madam City Clerk, do we have any blue cards this time?
No, we do not.
We do not, so we will go ahead and close the public forum. This is the first meeting of the year. This is going to be a great year, and we're excited to get started today on 2017. So moving on to the agenda.
Item 1, approve City Council regular meeting agenda of January 4, 2017 for possible action.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The agenda is in order, ready for your approval.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on the agenda? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve as posted.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Item is approved. Moving on to set future public hearing dates.
Item 2, set date on any appeals filed or required public hearings from the City Planning Commission meetings.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. I so direct you to set any appropriate hearing dates as needed.
Mayor, so noted.
Moving on to public hearings.
Item 3, approve VAC 0916 Northgate Building 3 for applicant Tracy Hammer on behalf of Capital 11 LLC, property owner, to vacate portions of Marion Drive, a.k.a. Puebla Street, and an associated easement south of Tropical Parkway for possible action.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here who would like to speak on this this item? No one here? Staff, this is a continuation of what we've been doing over on, is it Lamb? And go ahead, Jennifer.
Correct. This is associated with the Northgate industrial project that's going forward, and we have no objections.
Okay, thank you very much. There's no public hearing. I'll close public hearing. Councilor, any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve.
Please cast your vote. Items approved. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion. However, any consent item may be moved to the business portion of the agenda for discussion at the request of any council member.
Thank you.
Mayor and council members, consent agenda consists of items number 4 and 5. The recommendation is to approve as posted.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Council, any comments or questions on this item? If not, Chair will take a motion.
Move to approve consent.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Moving on to the business of the city.
Item 6, approve and authorize publication of 2017 Municipal Election Proclamation for possible action.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Is this your presentation?
Yes. So the municipal code requires that the city clerk publish in the circulation, the newspaper of general circulation, which is the Review Journal, a proclamation identifying the dates of the primary, the general election, the positions or the seats that for the race, and for this election, that will be the mayor for your term, council member 1 and council member 3 terms of 4 years as well. And it added to that proclamation is a listing of where we're going to have our polling locations. And so in November of 2016, the council approved use of vote centers. So for the listening public and the audience here, a vote center is a voting location that is not tied to your physical precinct. So all the residents of the city of North Las Vegas may vote at any one of these 10 election sites. And so if you look to the right on the map that I have displayed here, you will see the listing that it's Aliante Library, Dickens Elementary, Hayden Elementary, there's a Fitzgerald Elementary, Lowe's, North Las Vegas City Hall, obviously, Elizondo Elementary, Cozine Elementary, and Aliante Community Center are our 10, as well as Swanson, are our 10 choices. I don't know, there appear to be some kind of technical difficulties going on over there. But that's my presentation. We will be publishing this on January 18th in the Review Journal.
Thank you. I'm not sure, but Council, do you have any comments or questions on this or how the design was performed or anything?
I have a question. I'm just noticing that the Aliante Library and then it's right there in Sun City, those are extremely close to one another. Is that by design or how was that decided?
That's by design and it's also based on usage. We have an extremely large turnout in Aliante at that location, so we didn't want to eliminate that. If we were to eliminate that, we could have used 9 because for the viewing public, the circles that are represented on this map indicate a 3-mile diameter centered on the locations that you see listed on the right. The intent, especially I'll talk about that in the next agenda item, the intent is to have no one have to travel more than 1.5 miles from their home. What you should also see is that with the circles overlapping, that each ward has 3, 4, 5 or more potential sites that are close to them. So for example, Ward 1 has 5 of those circles or those polling locations that are relatively close to it. Ward 2 has 6, Ward 3 has 5, and Ward 4 has 8 that it serves that particular ward. So we think that distribution will provide multiple locations. The biggest difference, again, for the viewing public is that they're not limited and they're not using the same polling locations they used in 2015. They're using these, but they can go to any one of them as they so desire. So if they're closer to Lowe's and they want to vote there, they can vote there, or they can vote to the closest one to home. And that's my presentation. Are there any other questions?
Councilwoman Wood?
Hello, yeah, it's me. Okay, so I appreciate that you've got it in a way that, that your circles overlap. But I would like to make a request in the future that we try to kind of balance the number that's in each ward. My Ward 3 residents are all going, except for one group, are ending up going either into Wards 4 or 2 in order to do most of their voting based on this, because there's only 1 out of 10 locations that's
Yes.
actually in Ward 3.
However, the clerk actually defines the polling locations, but what I will tell you, and I knew that this was one of the questions that you had, if I had a laser pointer, I would show you, but at the top of the map, very close, you see the Aliante Library. Aliante Library is 486 feet away from the boundary of Ward 3. You also see Sun City. That is 744 feet away from Ward 3. And Swanson is 429 feet away from Ward 3. So for me, centering those there not only serves Ward 3, but it also serves Ward 2 and Ward 4. The intent is not to say, we want to do 12, we have 4 wards, we do the math, and we come up with, 3 for each ward. The intent is to provide coverage to the residents throughout the city, and the balance of these circles kind of gives that. Please note that there are some locations that they might be closer to you or within the ward, but they might not be available or they have low turnout. So
Well,
these-
I don't think Silver Mesa Rec Center has low turnout.
I
and
actually
think-
have statistics, I don't have them with me here, but I looked at early voting turnout, and we maybe had 45 to 50 a day for that. So I do, so we decided, estimated that we would use 6 on November the 16th. Council indicated they would want to have more, and so we looked at 10 as a possible alternative. In comparison to the city of Las Vegas uses a 3.5-mile diameter. They have a slightly different geography than we do. They have really long portion out, and so they estimate 3.5 to cover. So I know that you'd want to say, well, Ward 3 or 4 has 2 and Ward 3 has 2, but the geography doesn't match that. I wrote this down. Ward 3 is a very vertical and narrow ward, as you see, up and down. At the most, northern border, it's only 1.93 miles wide. At its widest, it's 2.81 miles wide at Ann. And then at the end, it's only 1.05 miles wide at the south. So I'm just trying to make the geography match, and as well as provide as many locations as I can for the voters of the whole city.
Well, I understand, but I would like to see some uniformity. I love Ward 4 too, but 4 of them in Ward 4 and 1 in Ward 3, just no matter how you slice it, doesn't quite seem very balanced. But
Well, yes, and if I could move the map down, if you look at the land mass, we're talking registered voters versus land mass. If you look at the land mass, Ward 1 is massive, and Ward 4 is quite broad and tall, north and south, and Ward 2 is more of a, close to a circle as you can get, maybe. But, the land mass determines if we want to have it within 1.5 miles of everybody's home. The landmass determines where I can put the sites, as well as there's some qualifications of which sites we can use. For example, they didn't want us to use a high school, so Legacy High School was out. I could have used Legacy High School, which would have been further north in Ward 4. I could also have used Cheyenne High, but again, that's not in Ward 3, but that's a good center of mass to provide a voting polling location.
well, that's why I'm saying I think Silver Mesa would have been a nice alternative.
Okay, I'll take that under advisement.
Councilman?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor. And thank you very much for putting this together. I do have a question. On actual election day, of course, normally the hours here at City Hall are till 6, but isn't election hours normally until 7, generally for the election?
So we have, I think it's 7 to 7, so we will have staff here, but yeah.
So the City Hall will be open until 7 o'clock that
Yeah,
night,
and
right?
same thing, the other things that are listed in here as well is when the candidate can pull papers and close papers. So we will be here on those Fridays of that week. It's a good question. We'll be here on Friday as well to receive candidate nominations.
Okay, the only thing I'd like to add, I think overall I do understand the reasoning and all, but it just, to me, there's like an interim part to Ward 1, say around the College of Southern Nevada area. It's a little bit thin. It's from there. It's a little bit far to come here to City Hall, and it's a little bit far to Lowe's. Is it too late to have a poll location there at the College of Southern Nevada?
It's not too late, but these are defined and designated by the city clerk to pick this, and we've coordinated with the Clark County. The 24th is when we're pulling papers, and so this proclamation needs to be published in the paper on the 18th by statute. And so these are the locations that we will publish this year. A good question is how it will spread. Should we have more population in 2 years from now, these circles will not be used again. We'll have to reposition it. We'll also have to have the Clark County Election Department go out and see if the facility that we're looking at, say they've already done that for us. They provided that service. So they've already looked at the 10 that we recommended and said that those are a go for us for this coming elections.
Okay. Well, again, I just it's too bad that we couldn't have had a poll location there at the North Las Vegas College, North Las Vegas campus.
Well, keep in mind, I will be showing you, once we finish this item, I will be showing you another map. So let's be realistic. I want to provide you with a full disclosure and transparency. The reality is that on election day, we have fewer people voting than we have on early voting. So what we're looking at right now is election day, a single day, April the 4th, June the 13th. What we'll be talking about in a second is actually our 2-week early voting. And so it rotates throughout the city, and they're not the same locations that you see on this map. So
Well,
that's-
actually, I'm very I'm pleased with the early
Yeah.
voting locations. They seem to be very plentiful, quite frankly, in Ward 1. So just looking out for voter participation. That's all.
Right, but keep in mind that with the Ward 1, because of its large geographic mass, if we have an influx and they have to redistrict, or we just have an influx in people living in that, then we may have to add 11 or 12, at the next election. But it's really based upon what we can fit in where residents are. If you're looking at Ward 2 in the lower southwest of the map, you'll see that I have that green corner that has no overlap. I don't have to have an overlap there because no one lives at the airport. So the reason the circles are centered where they are right now is because that's where the residents are. So we would have to reposition them. For example, when Tule Springs is built out, we'll probably have to have one much further north. And we will collect the statistics from this year and use that for next year, the next 2 years from now.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? I looked at the map myself, and I think you've done a wonderful job on my district, so anyway, since it looks good to me, I'd like to call for a motion. Anyone would like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please.
Map off. She gotta take the map off? Yeah, there it is. It just takes a moment to get the map off and the motion on there.
I think Mr. Bouchard needs a little service over there. I'm just recognizing you there, Gary. Item number 7.
Item 7, present
Thank you. It's items approved.
Okay, sorry. Item 7, present criteria for selecting early voting locations for City of North Las Vegas 2017 municipal elections. So Adele, if you could put up the PowerPoint first. The PowerPoint first. So there's only one slide. This is for this item number 7 that speaks to early voting sites. Pursuant to 2.08170, the city clerk shall designate the election precincts and polling locations. And so the selected sites are the ones that I'll show you in just a moment, but they're vote centers that allow voters access to 11 locations over the 2-week period of early voting. Keep in mind there's a 2-week period of early voting for the primary as well as for the general election, that the sites are positioned such that residents have multiple choices for voting within 1.5 miles of home, and they support ADA and CCED logistical requirements, parking, et cetera, that they have Wi-Fi, whatnot, are the requirements that I'm speaking to, and based on past voter turnout as well as balanced across all 4 wards. So this same approach that I'm showing you here is the approach that I used for the election day voting.
Thank you
I'll
very much.
bring
Good,
up the map.
good presentation. Counselor?
Did you want to see the map? If not, or I'm good to go.
No, I saw it first. It came up there for just a second.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Counselor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair. Oh, Councilman Churchill.
No.
Okay. Chair will take a motion. Was that you, Councilman Churchill? Would that be fine?
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Item is approved.
Item 8, approve district office lease and addendum to the United States House of Representative District Office lease for Reuben Kewen, a member-elect of the United States House of Representatives, to use certain portions of City Hall to conduct operations in the amount of $56,660 revenue for possible action.
Excuse me, how much did you say?
$51,660.
Thank you very much. I misunderstood. Thank you. Council, any comments or questions on this? Not Chair will take a motion.
Absolutely, I'm more than happy to make a motion. I just really would like to reach out and thank Congressman Kewen for continuing the trend of keeping this representative office inside of the North Las Vegas City Hall. I think it's a tremendous cooperation between the federal government and local state government, and I think it is just wonderful for our residents to have that access and for us to have that access. So my special thanks to him for continuing the tradition of keeping this office here, and I would move to approve.
Thank you. We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Item's approved.
Item 9, ratify grant application submitted to the State Historic Preservation Office under the State of Nevada Commission for Cultural Affairs Grant Program in the amount of $170,000 and approve the funding agreement memorializing the terms of the grant for additional restoration and improvements to Kyle Ranch adobe structure, CIP project number 10394, for possible action.
Thank you, Councilor. Any comments or questions on this? If not, the Chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Thank you, Director Palmer. That's a very good addition of money to our park system.
Item 10, award bid number 1493 and approve contract with CG&B Enterprises, Inc. for Kyle Ranch Historic Park, Phases 2 and 3, CIP project numbers 10351 and 10395, in the amount of $818,866 from the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act Fund for possible action.
Thank you, Councilor. Any comments or questions on this? If not, the Chair will take
I
a
have
motion.
none.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I just want to say that I was so thrilled last summer when we all got to go to the Phase 1 grand opening, and I think that Parks and Recreation did just a fabulous job. It is an absolutely gorgeous park, and so I'm so excited to be able to support Phases 2 and 3, and I hope they come out just as nice.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
And I'd also just like to, and I see Jeff, Mr. Albert back there, thank you for all the research and the articles that you've been sharing about this historical park and other historical sites in North Las Vegas. So we appreciate your work. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 10.
Thank you. We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 11, award bid number 1507 and approve contract with Las Vegas Paving Corporation for the Sewer Main Rehabilitation Phase 2 project, CIP project number S0022, in the amount of $577,150 from the Utility Enterprise Fund for possible action.
Thank you, Council. Any comments or questions on this? If not, the Chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Moving on to ordinances. Introduction only.
There is no public comment for these items, and no action will be taken by council at this meeting. If you wish to speak on any of these items, please attend the meeting where the final action will be determined and submit a blue card to the clerk. Item 12, introduce ordinance number 2791, amending section 010 of Chapter 16 of Title 17 of the City of North Las Vegas Municipal Code by reclassifying approximately 44.23 acres therein from a PCD, Planned Community District, to RCL PCD, Medium Density Residential Planned Community District, ZN-17-16, Villages at Tule Spring, Village 3, for property generally located at the northeast corner of Clayton Street and Durrell Lane, and providing for other matters properly relating thereto. Set final action for January 18th, 2017.
Okay, moving on to ordinances, final action.
Item 13, pass and adopt ordinance number 2784, amending Title V of the Municipal Code related to business licenses and regulations by adding an audit and appeals process and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Continued from December 21, 2016, for possible action.
Thank you. Is there a presentation on this, or I'll open it up to public comment? Is there anyone like to speak on this issue? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Council, Chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 14, pass and adopt ordinance number 2779, amending Chapter 52 of Title II of the City of North Las Vegas Municipal Code to permit electronic signatures and providing for other matters properly related thereto, for possible action.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions to this? Item not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 15, pass and adopt ordinance number 2788, amending Chapter 22, Section 010, subsections A and B, and adding subsections C and D to Title V of the North Las Vegas Municipal Code to define resort hotels and other types of hotels, to set distribution of all monies received from room rentals by hotel types through January 14, 2017, and from January 15, 2017, with monies distributed between the Las Vegas Convention Authority, City of North Las Vegas, Regional Transportation Commission, State of Nevada, and Clark County School District, and providing for other matters properly related thereto, for possible action.
Thank you. Is there a presentation on this? I'll just say a couple words on this. SB 1 that allowed the governor worked with the legislature on concerning, we'll call it the stadium bill. This was a funding formula for the stadium bill. It brought in all, the resort hotels, and we have some in our community, so we will be following state law and doing what has been asked by us by the governor. But if this does not pass, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. But I just want to go on the record and tell you that's what it is. So, Councilor, any other comments or questions? If not, the chair will take a motion. And when I say it does not pass, I mean if they don't bring a stadium here. Okay.
Move to approve.
Okay. We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 16, pass and adopt ordinance number 2789, extending corporate limits of the City of North Las Vegas, annexing parcels of land generally located at the southeast corner of Ann Road and Hope Street. Petitioners represent 100% of the area proposed for annexation and providing other matters thereto, for possible action.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions to that? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve, please.
Councilman, did you have something to offer? Oh, you both, okay. We have a motion by Councilman Churchio. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Go ahead, do that first. This is the question.
Item 17, pass and adopt ordinance number 2790, repealing ordinance number 2739 by amending Chapter 8, Section 015 of Title II of the City of North Las Vegas Municipal Code, removing 3 precincts from Ward 1, updating precincts in 4 wards, and providing for other matters properly related thereto, for possible action.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, do you want to say something about this, or I'll just move on?
In brief, it's removing 3 wards, the precincts from Ward 1 that are no longer within the boundaries of the city. They have no residents. They are actually property in the county.
Thank you very much. So the chair will call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Please cast your vote. Items approved. Moving on to appointments.
Item 18, appointment by Councilman Churchio of a citizen member of the Traffic and Parking Advisory Committee to fill an unexpired term ending June 30th, 2019, continued December 21st, 2016, for possible action.
Thank you, Councilman Churchio.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Gives me great pleasure to appoint Mr. Rick Skipton for the Traffic and Parking Committee.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to, Skipton, did you just say?
Skipton, yes, sir.
Is Mr. Skipton to be Councilman Churchill's appointee to the Traffic and Parking Committee. Any comments? Not, please cast your vote. Items approved. Ms. Evans, would you please come forward? Ms. Evans is our building official, and she recognized that we hadn't in a few years brought a board up to compliance, and she notified the city clerk, and they went to work on it. And so Ms. Evans today is here to tell you a little bit about this board, and maybe if you wouldn't mind introducing your board to us. Would that be okay?
I would be glad to.
Mayor,
Thank you,
can I
Mayor.
read the title into the record first?
Pardon me?
May I read the title into the record?
Oh, yes,
first?
ma'am. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. 19, appoint new board members to the Joint Board of Appeals as defined in the Building Administrative Code, City of North Las Vegas Municipal Code 15.72.30 for possible action.
Thank you for keeping me straight. Ms. Evans.
Mayor, Council, as you said, we did not have a sitting Board of Appeals. In the event that there is an appeal to a technical portion of a building code and they don't take the ruling from the city, then a joint Board of Appeals would be seated if an appeal was required, and the members of the Board of Appeals would then sit down and they'd be the specialists and experts in their field. So for this joint Board of Appeals, we reached out to the general public and got the filling members. It's a criteria that's specific, so it has to have an architect, and in the architect's position for this Board of Appeals, it's George Rogers from GMA Architect. And
Would you invite him up since
I'm
we're...
going to,
okay.
yeah, I'm going to. It's George Rogers from GMA Architect. Do you want me to use this? I appreciate it. This is Mr. Rogers.
Mayor, Council, Happy New Year to you. George Rogers, architect. I've been practicing in Southern Nevada for about 26 years, and I was an intern prior to that for about 6 or 8 years. And I'm happy to join this board and participate, get back to the community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. I appreciate that. And we have Wade Pope. He is the general contractor from Martin Harris.
Mayor, Council, Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
We have Nat Hodgson's III. He is the representation from the home builders, and he is the executive director for the Southern Nevada Home Builders Association.
Mayor and Council, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We have Arthur White, owner of Aqua Plumbing. He fills the seat of the plumbing contractor, also known as Artie.
Mayor and Council, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
We have Bill Lobb. He is the layman on the board. He is a retired member of Southwest Gas. He's been a part of the community for many years and very well known.
Mayor and Council, and I have to say this, it's not lame man, it's layman. Happy New Year.
There are 2 members that aren't here. Robert Kowalczyk from Robco Electric and Russ Talbot would be our representation for structural engineer for Rimrock Engineering.
Thank you. Could I ask a favor? I want to thank you, gentlemen. Some of you I know very, very closely, and I have favorites on that board. I think you've chosen well, but we don't have a lot of need for this board to get together because pretty much you follow the code and you understand the code, correct?
We do have a code and a set of amendments that we follow, and I do my best to understand it, yes.
So since you're not going to be meeting often, I would like you to maybe meet once a year with this group and say, what can North Las Vegas do better in the building department? What are some of the things that the industry is, talking about? And if we can streamline our system and keep up with what everybody else is doing, but could we use this board for maybe a sounding board for you, Valerie? Would you mind doing that now and then?
Would you gentlemen be willing to be my sounding board? Absolutely, Mayor.
Thank you. Now I know we'll get some work out of you because I know you're not going to have problems. So anyway, we thank you, gentlemen, for serving with us, and we're going to use you for a little bit more than what we appointed you for today. Is that okay? Thank you very much. Thank you, Valerie, for choosing such a wonderful board. Moving on to the city manager's report.
Mayor,
Oh,
you
we
didn't
need
have
to
a
vote.
motion.
Oh, call for a motion. Did I call for the motion?
No, Mayor.
Oh, let me make the motion this time. I'd make a motion that we accept these new members as the Joint Board of Appeals as defined in the Building Administrative Code. That would have been my motion. Please cast your vote. Are any of the comments or questions? Yeah, but,
You go.
okay. I get around contractors, I get excited. Items approved. Moving on to city manager's report.
No additional items to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Great. Council items. Do we have anything we'd like to mention to the general public, or any thanks or good news? Would you like to do that?
Who wants to brag about last night?
You.
Well, we had the great, oh my gosh, to the reveal of the Faraday future car. I keep saying when I grow up I want to get one of those cars, but it was absolutely phenomenal. The automobile is gorgeous. There were 2 different models. You can't even hear them when they just go by you, and they just like 2.39 from 0 to 60. Wow. So we are so excited to be a part of this in the city of North Las Vegas. And I'll let anybody else add on to that.
Councilwoman.
Well, I too was at the Faraday unveiling last night, and it was absolutely amazing. And I would say that my favorite part was when the car parked itself.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about just like, parallel parking. We're saying that you will actually be able to drive up in front of the building, realize, oh, you're running late from your appointment, be able to hit a button on the car, and it literally will drive from there, search through the parking lot, find the nearest empty parking space and park, which I thought was absolutely cool. I want that car tomorrow. And it's only, $5,000 earnest money to reserve one, but they never did tell us what the full price of the car is.
You won't afford it on this salary. Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Just let me wish everybody, hope everybody had a good holiday season, and wish everybody healthy and safe 2017. I did watch that presentation last night, but I watched it from home, the streaming portion of it. Yeah, 5,000. I put 3 reservations in already for 3 of them. So somebody told me that they're under $20,000 each. But it looks like an amazing car, and we wish Faraday well in their pursuit of that automobile, and of course getting so many jobs over here in North Las Vegas. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Barone.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to echo the sentiments of my colleagues here. I know, not to bring up things, but they've been taking some knocks in certain rounds of the media. But I just have to point out that this is not a shoe factory that they're building, not that I have anything against shoes. But we're not talking about a car factory. We're talking about an entire new genre of technology. This is about as far removed from a car as a Corvette is from a horse and buggy. This is not an automobile in the strictest sense. It's a blend of several technologies together, and quite frankly, they're going to have. I'm a patient man, and I think if you wait long enough, we support them, they're going to deliver, and I'm elated by what I saw last night. I also want to mention that there's also been another announcement. I guess Hyperloop, which it's also in Ward 1, right next to the Faraday factory, is also planning. They made an announcement that they're going to have an extended test as well coming up in this year. I think quietly, diligently, we're on the Pacific Rim, Mayor. You and the rest of the staff, the city manager, everyone pulling together here and making North Las Vegas the new Silicon Valley, I think, especially for Nevada. And it's my hope in this new year that, of course, we wish all the best to our friends at Hyperloop, at Faraday Future, and all the rest of the other businesses that are coming in to North Las Vegas. And, of course, we wish the very best for our residents. And I think it's a proud moment. It's an exciting time to be here working for the residents of North Las Vegas.
Thank you. You know, I might add a little bit on that. That was exciting. But I think the most exciting thing is what we're doing here, council, is that we are finally, once and for all, diversifying the economy of Southern Nevada. As I look at Las Vegas, I see 3 miles of fantasy surrounded by reality. We're just like every other city, you know? And people only recognize that strip, the fantasy, even though, like I say, the city will always have the Fremont Street experience, and the county will always have the strip. Those are boutiques. That's why people come here. They love the place. But I can tell you, North Las Vegas is going to be the breadbasket for this whole region. We are doing huge things here. And not only are we going to diversify our economy, we're diversifying the incomes of the families within North Las Vegas. So both of them aren't in hotel, gaming, and tourism. You know, we're able to have some out here manufacturing, so we don't have an opportunity to stabilize, you know, this local government. Another thing, just you mentioned the future, you know, with Hyperloop out there. I just met with the new president of Hyperloop, and he's going to come in here, and I'll try to get you guys to meet him when he comes, okay? But they're doing some huge tests. When are they doing it? In March, they're going to do a big test out there, and we'll get out there to that. Then we've got, once again, Faraday, like I just mentioned, what they're doing. I don't think people pay attention to Bigelow Aerospace on the corner here. They just put that addition onto the space station, you know. That's here in North Las Vegas. And one of the exciting things that's here is the Nevada Nuclear Testing Site on Losee that handles all the stuff out at the test site out there. We are a huge, huge community when it comes to aerospace transportation and technology. And we are now putting all that together and marketing that a lot better than we've ever done before. So I just let you know we're on the right path. I had lunch today with Mr. Jha, the owner of Faraday. Chong and I and Ryan had lunch with him and his team. Worked over some things, interesting things that they're doing, how we can set timelines, how we can work together. I don't lose a bit of sleep wondering if they're going to be here. And we're going to have some great announcements on the 26th at the State of the City about the condition of North Las Vegas. So I'd encourage everyone that's interested in knowing what's happening in North Las Vegas, come out on the 26th to the Aliante Hotel and Casino. And so there'll be a good opportunity to really learn about what to expect in 2017. So once again, Council, thank you for moving the city forward. We really appreciate that. And that's the end of our City Council report. At this point in time, this time is set aside for public comment. Mr. Bouchard, would you like to come up? And anybody else would like to address the City Council? This will be the last item on the agenda.
Listen, I'm suffering from a bad cold, having trouble hearing. You said you wanted me to come up and bless the City Council?
Yeah.
Bless you. Hate to backtrack, but nobody's gotten back with me of why the city can't build the landowners of these properties, like the one on Simmons, where they had piled up rubble on the right-of-way. Nobody's ever gotten back with me on that.
Why we're not building the curbs and gutters?
Why we what?
Why we're not building the curb?
No, why we didn't build the landowner on Simmons when we had to move his berm, which was illegally placed on the right-of-way. Nobody's gotten back with me on this.
Yeah. Dr. Liu, do you have an answer for that?
I believe Mike Hutchins actually talked to Mr. Bashar a few weeks back.
We can get an answer for you.
Okay, that'd be good. Moving along, this is something I brought up about a year ago. Why are we running our city street cleaners without water? Are you aware of this?
I don't know how to clean a street, Mr. Bouchard.
Okay, well, it's no. They have these great.
Oh, I understand the product. I just don't know about water, non-water.
Well, okay, how they work is they spray water on the street. They got a big brush that rotates, and behind that is a vacuum that sucks it all up. And we're running these things dry, which is drastically diminishing the effect. And I've talked to Public Works, I've talked to individual drivers, and nobody has given me a satisfactory answer to this question, other than calling up a friend of mine that works in LA. He says if they're running the thing dry, they're wasting your time and money. And these guys are Teamsters, so I'm assuming they're making Teamsters wages to drive those things, right?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that answer. Do you have any idea, Jennifer? Maybe you could report to that.
We have two different kinds of sweepers. One uses water, one does not. It depends on what sweeper's being run at the time. And when they get low, they go to a fire hydrant and fill them up. So it just depends on the sweeper that's out at the time.
Okay.
Well, if they're not using water, they're not effective. They need to. So however they're doing it this way, they need to fix that problem. And here's another problem that I can fix for you. Right now, they cleaned my street last night. They didn't get near the gutter, which is where all the dirt is, because there were cars parked there. They only clean the streets once a month. All we have to do is tell people, once a month, you have to park your car in your garage. You know, I mean, I don't understand why this is a big issue. You take your car, put it in the garage or on your driveway, so these guys can do their jobs. What I did notice when I was driving down the street I live on this morning is that people are parking cars on the street that are leaking oil. So wherever these cars are parked, there's a big black blob of oil, which the cleaners can't clean because there's a car parked in there. And when these areas in the street start to look really funky, it lowers my property values. It lowers everybody's property values. And let me tell you something, a lot of people are concerned about property values right now.
Okay. Thank you very
So,
much.
I mean, these things we can fix. I understand why you can't do everything. I do not expect the government to solve all my problems. But this is an easy fix.
Okay.
Put water in the equipment and make people park off-street one night a month. That's not asking that much.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for listening. God bless.
I just don't know how we ticket enough people at one time. I'm thinking about what you're saying,
Well, they
though.
do it in California.
Jeff, Mr. Alpert?
Jeff Alpert, 3828 Fusilier Drive, North Las Vegas 89032. Happy New Year to council members. Just came up spur of the moment because I was listening to Gary's comments, and the first Tuesday of the month is street sweeping day in my community, and I happened to be out walking when the sweeper came by. I think there were actually two of them. I think one of them actually says City of North Las Vegas on the side, the other one didn't. But I was watching because an enormous amount of leaves have fallen off the trees in my streets, and they're piled curb high. And I was watching as the sweeper went by and thinking a lot of them would just wind up on the sidewalk or on the gravel. But it's miraculous how the machines do a great job, and none of the leaves go over the curb, and they're all gone. And I just wanted Gary to know that there was water, because as I was walking, I noticed there was all these liquid spots. It wasn't heavy water, but it was a light layer of water, so I noticed they are using water to spray as they go. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to address the council? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. This meeting is adjourned.